Morning guys, lesson for today, productivity and getting things done rapid. Everything I teach you today, you can pick up in a book called SCRUM, The Art of Doing Things Twice as Fast in Half the Time by a chap called Jeff Sutherland. If you value what's in this video, pick that book up and start reading it. It will transform your business. But let me just explain to you how we do things quickly and efficiently in our business. So one of the things we do every day, which is paramount, is we have a meeting at 11 a.m. Beginning of the week, that meeting focuses on what are we going to get done in that week. That week is called a sprint. So in that sprint, we will sit down and figure out what's going to look great by Friday. We then split that up into tasks, allocate those tasks to individuals, and then we write those tasks on yellow post-it notes and they go up on that board. And I'll come back to that in a sec. We then every day have a meeting and discuss what we can do to achieve that Friday goal by moving all those tasks to complete. Really simple, but it's so easy to get lots of productivity out of that once we're focusing on it together as a team. So let me just take you to the board and show you how it works. So here we have something called a backlog column. Now, what a backlog column does for me is if an idea pops into my mind, I write on a post-it note, I chuck it in the backlog column and then leave it and carry on with what I'm doing at that moment in time. Why is that important? Because all those goals in the backlog column that I set, that my individual team members set, are there staring us in the face when we have a meeting around this board every single morning. And there'll be a particular time where we'll say, okay, we're now going to take that goal from the backlog board, split it up into tasks, and smash it out over the next 3 or 4 weeks. So your backlog, your ideas board, I'm sure you guys have got loads of ideas flying in your mind. And what really winds me up is when I come up with a light bulb moment and I think, right, I must remember that. And then I forget about it. And then later on in the day, I'm kicking myself thinking, bloody hell, I wish I'd remembered that. Moving on to the next column, we've got 3 more columns. So we've got to do, doing, and done. Quite self-explanatory, right? But in that week, everything we're doing in that week sits here. And this is our sprint goal. So everything in here must be achieved by Friday. So then we look at the board and figure out which one of these tasks are we going to move from to do to doing and then to done in that particular day. It may take 2 days to do a task, but we figure it out in that morning meeting. That meeting is strictly 15 minutes. We just discuss the agenda. There's no side conversations. We just focus on the task at hand in that day. And it's a great motivational tool for all the team because it makes us accountable for what we need to achieve that day. Super important as a business leader. We talk about leadership. You need to be leading that scrum. If you're not there in the business that day, assign somebody as your second in command to lead that scrum, but that scrum must happen every single morning to push your business forward. But as a business owner, you should be driving that scrum and the direction of everything that your team are doing that day. So moving on from there, let's say I've assigned myself a task, and let's say that task is on this yellow sticky note here. What happens is I get up and I move that to doing. If that sticky note is in doing, I cannot do anything else until that task is complete. That means no phone calls, no distractions, no nothing. I am focusing on the task on that sticky note. Once I've completed that task, I move it over from doing to done, and I have achieved that goal. Now throughout the day, my team are getting up and moving stuff along from one side of the board to the other. How do you think that impacts their productivity and their self-worth when they're doing that? It's massively empowering. And the great thing is, as a director, I've got a visual representation of what's happening in my company at any one moment in time just by quickly looking at that board. It's fantastic, it's amazing, and it boosts productivity massively. Guys, I hope that's given you a bit of value in how you can boost productivity in your own business. For me, it's had a massive impact. And don't feel to yourself, oh, I've got to get a scrum board, I've got to do this, got to do that. Simple whiteboard, stick in the box, backlog, to do, doing, done. Get some sticky notes and just crack on with it. Have that team meeting every morning. I promise you, your productivity will fly through the roof. Guys, if you've got anything that you want to share on this topic or you've got any questions you want to ask, obviously leave something in the comments below and I'd be happy to get engaged in that conversation and maybe help you in implementing Scrum in your business.